John Davis, absolutely one of the best.
John Davis True Crime.
John Davis True Crime.
John Davis doing what true crimers do.
John Davis True Crime.
John Davis.
John Davis True Crime.
Mr. John Davis.
John Davis True Crime.
John Davis True Crime.
This guy John Davis.
John Davis True Crime.
John Davis True Crime. Maybe that's where I've heard that name before.
John Davis True Crime.
John Davis, and it's good to see you, John. How are you?
John Davis True Crime.
John Davis True.
Hey, John Davis.
John Davis.
John Davis True Crime.
John Davis True Crime kicks butt.
Tune in and watch John Davis True Crime. You will love it. It's one of the best channels on YouTube. Tune in. It's John Davis True Crime.
Good morning. Welcome to John Davis True Crime in the Morning on this early 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Coast time morning on 3/28 of 24. In the headlines, man, I need to work on my spiel. I'm pretty sure I could do radio. I could do radio for most stations. My mom always said I had a face made for radio. Not a Drama Nana, Sharpie, Messy Jessie, Angela, V, Poppy Red, Big Rounda. Good morning. I haven't decided where we're going to go with it this morning yet. The original plan was, let's do a call-in. Let's take some calls this morning. That's the original plan. I don't know. It still may be the plan. I'm not sure yet. I'm going to see what kind of group we got with us this morning. That kind of thing. See where it's going. Well, while we fill out the group, I'm going to play something real quick. Something I thought was hilarious. Hilarious? No, maybe not hilarious, but entertaining. Let me see where we at here. Boom.
Get a hold of Detective Pruitt. I was trying to find out a couple things about something.
Hold on just a minute.
Thank you.
I had no idea it was that easy to talk to Detective Pruitt. Hi, Detective Pruitt, JDTC, glad to meet you. Oh. Pat you right through to Detective Pruitt.
Detective Pruitt.
Yes, sir. How you doing today?
Good.
I'm fine. How are you?
All right. My name's George Bernard, Andy Bernard. I live at 125 Ben Hill Road. I was just trying to figure out some information, maybe possibly.
What about?
Summer Wells case. For a while now, Fred, my cousin, has been saying that I was on the road that day. Nobody else has questioned me after I left my residence when I separated from my
ex. Cutting in and out, sir. I can't hear half of what you're saying.
Can you hear me better now?
Detective Pruitt's kind of hazy.
A little bit.
A little bit.
Okay. I left my residence, didn't go back till September. I went through a separation in the process. I was just wondering, I was just trying to figure out if there was anything I could do, needed to do. Do you need to talk to me, see me?
No, sir.
Was I on?
Unless concrete leads come up that we can sort of verify the direction it's headed, we're just accepting concrete leads, and your name has not come up.
Okay. Well,
that, and I wouldn't put too much faith in what Fred Hill is saying.
well, I kind of knew that for the rip, but for 3 years, this has kind of been affecting me for 3 years.
I can understand, sir, but like I said, your name is not relevant to the investigation, so you don't have anything to be concerned about.
Okay, I greatly appreciate that. That eases my mind a lot, and I greatly appreciate you, sir.
Have a good day.
You too, sir. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Had y'all seen that? He is hateful. Yeah, he is. I just need to find out if you saw me on camera that day. I tell you, I'm convinced. Oh, yeah. Oops. What's going on? Oops. I tell you, man, and you seen what he just did. Everybody that's under any kind of suspicion could do that, but they won't because they love the attention, I think. You know, he called, he said, look, I'm catching all this shit on the YouTubes. Fred Hill's talking smack, and I'm getting a lot of heat. And dude's like, well, I don't know what to tell you, Fred Hill. We don't put much stock in anything that comes out of Fred Hill. See, I'm telling you, I wished he would have said, but you know, he's not going to sit here and take his time to denounce all these YouTube wild theory accusations. He's not going to do that. But I mean, the man basically said, you know, I wouldn't put any stock in what Fred Hill's saying. And I wouldn't either. I'm sorry. Ziggy. I like Ziggy. Ziggy's cool. But Fred Hill is full of shit. Words of Ronnie Lawson, everyone is still a suspect. Yeah. I don't even listen to the words of Ronnie Lawson anymore. I'm convinced. You would think Ronnie Lawson, as much shit as he's called, would be out there working the case himself. You know, I would feel like if I was the sheriff and this happened in my county, right, that I was responsible for that. I couldn't retire or, you know, move on from my position with a good feeling about what I had done there, knowing I never found out what happened to Summer Wells. What do y'all think? Thoughts on that? Well, may have been a smart move. Go right to the source and see if they need to talk to him. Yeah. Cut out the middleman, the rumor, the nonsense, you know. And I'm telling you, if he was a legitimate suspect, Detective Pruitt would have been eager to talk to him, you know. And I don't have no faith in Ronnie Lawson, but I think a majority of cops want to do their job. If you got somebody that is a legit suspect and they call and want to talk, you can be like, yeah, we can talk about all kinds of shit. Come on down to the interview room and we'll talk about it. And he didn't do that. Didn't seem interested. Didn't even seem to really want to talk to Andy. I'm not even positive. Well, I'm thinking he knew who he was, but I just think he is such a non-factor. He didn't even give it the least bit of traction. It's just the way I see it. I wouldn't have thought you could have got through to Pruitt that easy. Did he tell him who he was before? I don't remember. But he got in there easy. Maybe that's what we should do one morning on the show is call Pruitt. See if we can get through. My opinion, he brought attention to himself. I mean, well, Fred's done him a lot more damage than he's done to himself. I'll say that. Yeah, he could have just stayed completely out of it. I think if you know, seeing it from our vantage point now, a lot of people would have been better off to just never showed their faces. You know. He got in easy and Pruitt knew it was Fred Hill. How did Pruitt know that? I'm thinking they keep up with, I'm thinking they hear all the rumors that go on online. They know about them. I'm thinking they do. You know? I'm thinking they do. Wouldn't y'all say it? Because, I mean, there's a lot of people that follow this in that area. You know, they got friends and stuff. I'm sure they know a lot about what's said. You know, he didn't mention Fred Hill first, did he? Now that you say that. That makes me think they really do know all the nonsense that gets talked about and insinuated and all that good stuff. You know, I don't think let me see here. Hold on. Anybody that don't know who we're talking about, it's these two right. It's these two right here. The guy on the right in the sunglasses, that's Andy B. Jody Sue Brown's ex, who lived right near Summer at 125 Ben Hill. Summer was 110. And that's to his side, the other fellow with the feathered haircut. That's Fred Hill. I don't know Fred's address. I know Fred's right there too, man. They all live real close together. Or did. Fred's land's been sold since, is what I've been hearing. And they're neighbors in the saga of what happened to Summer Wells. And the one's been going at the other one really hard, insinuating police have been questioning him about him. That's what he says. I just report the news. Andy B looks like Squidward from SpongeBob. Let's test that theory. Bring it back up. I do get that vibe now that you say that. Like not as much the look as I get the feel of he's like, really, friend. You know, I can see it. I can see that a little bit, no doubt. I'm still wondering why they wouldn't let dogs go on the land that he bought. I don't know. Feathered haircut, wifey educated you well. So what I would refer to it as. That's back in the 80s. I never was a big fan of that look, even in the 80s. I was a Spike man myself. Dawn bees, not dogs. Oh, they wouldn't let Dawn B go there? Yeah. Might have been afraid Dawn B been drinking and got redneck with him or something. Who knows? Personally, I think, in my opinion, only most of the people living near the wells are shady in some way, and at the very least have strong suspicions of what happened to Summer. I'd agree with that. I think that's a fair statement. I think there's a lot of drugs going on in and out of Ben Hill. I'll say that from what we've heard and seen. I'm gonna put up the phone line in case somebody wants to call in, or should we bring somebody up? I don't know. What should we do? What we got here? Let me see here. Oh, yeah. If y'all want to go check it out, you can. I'm not going to really go over it. Here's a highlighted part, though. But it seems there's a new article out in the Sun that Dawn give. I never knew people could be so cruel as they are to my wife. I do my best to protect her, and that includes social media. Dawn told the U.S. Sun. We're both so tired of it all, but our children are worth keeping going. Summer is worth it. Go ahead and punch me. Make us lose sleep bombarding our phones all night, but find my daughter. It was quite lengthy, the story. A big part of it was Dawn was going off about the CPS case and stuff. Sounds like the writings of Tim. See, it was in the Sun, so I don't know. I don't know if it was a phone interview or what. I don't know, though. I tell you, to be honest, I think Tim and Dawn sound a lot alike in their thought process, to be honest. Dawn just is not as eloquent, especially in the writing. What I meant was, why didn't they let Jackie Dobbs go onto the land that he bought? You know, I don't know. I never went far with the Jackie Dobbs thing because he just seemed like such an unlikely person to me. The dogs wouldn't have knew him. I don't think he physically could have pulled it off. I never thought he made a great suspect. It's just my thoughts, and I'm sure he was looked into. He physically couldn't have done it, especially the way Candace lays it out that there was such the short time window and all that. But I tell you, if Dawn and Candace ain't involved, that's what's happened. Is there was a lot bigger of a window. Maybe Candace had a couple teas and was taking a nap, and she wandered down to the road and somebody grabbed her. I think there's a 50% chance it's that, and then 50% it's, I think it's Dawn and Candace. But I really have been a long time, and I don't talk about the Summer Wells case as much as I used to, because it's just so much of it's nonsense. But I thought for a long time that it would make sense that they're talking about, Candace or something she's holding back or not telling. Doesn't necessarily mean she was involved. I was like, that's it, that the window's much bigger. The only people who could have done anything to Summer are the people who were there. Yeah, I just like leaving possibilities open, until we know. I've always thought, though, if they weren't directly involved, that's what was up. And see, Summer made it to the new set. I leave it there every day so I don't forget. That's the reason I started doing YouTube. The reason I started doing the YouTubes because I was watching Summer's case and I was like, man, this is some straight bullshit. I had a couple things out before that, like me reenacting a conversation of asking Brandy what she wants at McDonald's. I don't know if y'all have seen it. If you haven't, I highly suggest you go check it out. I think the title is Going to McDonald's. I tell you, what's wild to believe is, where are we at now? What are we on? We're on Might as well say April. We're like 2.5 months from 3 years. Candace was supposedly the last adult to see Summer. Yeah, I mean, Candace is still my number one suspect. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say that I think that's what happened. I'm trying to say I think if there's a chance it wasn't them, that's what happened. Because the timeline, it just leaves it. The short timeline she gives just it's I don't believe it. Just like the walking to the porch, I don't believe that. And you know, that's what I think's brought them the most heat is shit is they said that people just know, you know, common sense tells you no, that don't make sense. And then if you're lying, why are you lying? You know, I mean, I think she thinks she should say what people would say, but normal people wouldn't walk their 5-year-old 20 foot to the steps. You know what I'm saying? You just either say, hold on, and if you were that worried about it, you would have been like, well, just hold on, let me fix this knee brace, and then I'll walk in. You wouldn't have been like, okay, well, let me walk you all the way over there, go fix the knee brace, come back. It's not believable. And I hate to get railing on this, but it's not. That's not a lot of it. It's not. You know, and then you got in the interview too, and this is what always holds me up too is in one interview they say we cut Summer's hair because she wanted to be like Candace and the boys. In the same interview they say we cut Summer's hair because she had been cutting it and gapped it up. That's all we could do to start fresh. You know, and if you cut it to be like her and to be like Candace and the boys, why didn't you put a guard on it? Because I know their cuts didn't seem like they were at the scalp. It doesn't make sense. Especially when you look at the length of everybody else's hair at the time. Little things like that don't make sense. And when you got those kind of inconsistencies, you always wonder, well, why are you lying? Just tell the truth. You know? My opinion, if she was abducted, she was lured to the end of the driveway by D. Most info I've been hearsay, unfortunately, from neighbors, footprints, scent, scream, and videos from parents. Not buying the hair stories, and it's disturbing. When a story changes, that means the first version was not true. See, and I've always thought about that, and I still say you won't convince me any different. A lot of people say she just, you know, she was growing and she lost baby fat. But if you look at the Christmas pictures compared to the right when she went missing pictures, she looks like she's deteriorated her health. She looks so much thinner. It's wild how much thinner she looks from just the Christmas prior when you look at in comparison to when she went missing. That hurts. 3 years we've been advocating justice for Summer. 3 years, man. 3 years is a long time. She was only 5. Think about that. And in 2 more years, she'll be missing as long as she was alive. My gut feeling is that Candace and Grannis both know what happened to Little Summer. Well, when it comes to that, you know, Candace and Grannis knowing what happened, you think if one does, the other one has to. I don't see how you could have been in that close a proximity with something going on and not been aware also. My opinion. Hello, new here in chat and listening. Love your channel. Thank you. Welcome. Welcome to the show. I got some more pictures. I figured we'd be going straight to Sebastian this morning. Everybody wanting to talk about the Sebastian situation. See, and I had, oh, did I? Yeah, here it is. I was going to bring this up too. This is Sebastian's grandma that posted this, and I posted about it on Facebook, but for those that don't know, it says, please stop all this negativity at this point. Searching needs to be organized with focus on finding Sebastian and securing any evidence. I have vetted the UNC myself. Seth has vetted them. If you want to help with the search, then do it in conjunction with them. These guys are all volunteer. They are here at the request of the Rogers family. They have received multiple death threats. How is this helping the search for my grandson? Please help the UCN in any way you can to help find my grandson. If you cannot search, then supply food, portable toilets, etc. The focus should not be on the Proudfoots, YouTubers, TikTokers, or anyone other than Sebastian. The focus is Sebastian and Sebastian only. Sebastian alone. Nothing else is relevant. Nothing else matters. And, I get what she's saying. I really do. And I agree completely. That needs to be the focus. Okay. But she's also the same one that made this post. And I read this the other day. I'm not going to read the whole thing again. But it throws a lot of shade onto the Proudfoots. And, I'm just saying, I don't know what I'm saying. I'm saying she kind of brought, I know especially that post about, she was thinking they were kind of shady. And that's going to draw a lot of attention to that. You know what I'm saying? It is. Because I've always said it feels like the biological dad, Seth, it always feels like he is holding back. I get when they come up. I really get that feeling, and I think he's doing it for the good, which I completely support him. I think he's you got to give him credit. The man has been doing everything he can, it seems to me, to find his son. And I think that's what he's doing is, he's not really elaborating. I'm disgusted with some people out there trying to video stuff and won't actually go search. I just think, I don't know. I've been real confused by the Cajun Navy thing because it seems like there's two separate ones is what I'm seeing, and one of them's kind of not legit. But it seems like to me, I thought they were hooked up with the legit ones. You don't have to throw shade on people who are already shady. KP said, Seth has punched Sebastian in the head and hit him with a belt too. KP, who's KP? Oh, Katie Proudfoot. Wow. Where did you see that at? I didn't see that. And why was she, in what context would she have said that? That's wild. Michelle After Dark. But, you know, it's interesting she would bring that up and go there, considering, you know, he hasn't really went there on her. If she said that, I would like to see it. Don't you think if her accusations were true, he would have been charged and would not be able to gain custody of Sebastian? Yeah, I'm not believing that. Me and Jesse have privileged info, John. Okay, I'm keeping it to yourself. I hear you. No offense intended, but Grandma should have edited her public statements a bit more. It seems to have hurt communication between parents. That said, we are all humans, right, with feelings. Yeah, I don't judge people for what they post and stuff, and because I can't imagine being in that situation. Strange she would say that now that her husband admitted to hitting Sebastian with a belt. Yeah, I'm not buying that. I don't. Got to go and hope y'all have a great day. Have a good day, Sally. I don't know that I'm buying that. On a posted fake Facebook page thing and can't be streamed or downloaded. Weird, huh? That was in divorce paperwork. He responded denying it all. How would he be able to work as a deputy sheriff, carry a firearm if there's any truth to it? Yeah, I don't believe that at all. And I think that shows me even more that she's shady. That adds shadiness to Sebastian's mom and stepdad, in my opinion. I can't stand that. Those are the saw some stuff from KP that I'm not buying either. Yeah. That's why I love the episodes of Steve when these women make false accusations like that and they take the lie detector test. Oh, I love it. Love it when they get caught lying on a man. And I think a lot of women will do that for leverage, you know, because they know. Better stay away from man. I'm talking to a bunch of women. I'm like, Bob ain't even here no more. I'm by myself. That's wild though. And you know, that really, and all y'all had great points too. That, you know, you wouldn't see why ain't there no charges, blah 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 blah. Yeah, and that shows that she's willing to be pretty shady, in my opinion. Until law enforcement makes a statement on all their whereabouts, I'm reserving judgment. Exactly, and the fact that she's constantly changing her story about Sebastian. On the flip side, if those accusations were true, why would Katie be okay with Sebastian going to live with Seth? There you go. That's an excellent point. Oh, there's Bob. I'm in the bush just being antisocial. I feel you. Sometimes people don't want to chat, you know, on occasion. The thud gets me, not a noise, but a thud she heard in his room. See, I don't know what to make out of that either. When she said that, she tightened her timeline up another hour. But, you know, like she makes the statements about Sebastian being with all these people that day. I'm assuming that's been looked into. I'm assuming that part's true. So I really feel like what happened that night. And it's interesting to me, too, that law enforcement doesn't want to polygraph the stepdad. I mean, the time you're looking at is going to be in the middle of the night, right? And also, I find it interesting. I was thinking about this. They said that night they talked on the phone for a long time, right? Well, he hadn't been in since the 1st of February. If you're so in love, aren't you going to drive home on the weekends? I've got so many questions, and I don't want to go to a bunch of wild speculation, but I got so many things to me don't make sense. Could he really have run away? I just don't know how he hasn't been found yet if he did. See, I think the runaway to me is off the table unless he had some kind of help. He didn't run away on his own. I think if he ran away on his own, we'd have found him by now. I think, and I can't see him leaving with no shoes. That's the part I get stuck on too. Figured out that when the thud occurred, she was on the phone with Chris 10 p.m. Yes, that's my understanding. That's his storytelling. No lie detector. Have not heard that from law enforcement. That's true. That's true. Yes, there was windows in his bedroom. Under it were bushes and mulch is what the mom said. I remember that. Any signs of a break-in? No. Any new weirdos in the neighborhood? None that I've heard about. I think if he would have run away, he'd have worn shoes. Exactly. And I think if he was going to go meet somebody, he would have worn shoes. I think if he was going to leave the house, period, he would have worn shoes. If you heard a thud, wouldn't you open the door and look in? Well, she says that she was like, hey, what's going on in there? And he's like, nothing. She's like, all right, go to bed. That's the way I heard it. Traveled back during that call, left his phone in Memphis. See, that's my thing, though. But if he did that, when did he get back to Memphis? Because to round trip, it would have took 7 hours. After hearing about the footprints and shoe prints going straight into pond and CP saying it's only knee deep leaves me with questions, though. 10 o'clock thud and only apparent other exit from a professional. Ah, shit, I missed it. It's going too fast. Is there any... someone was hitting the bush, and I don't believe it was Sebastian. My opinion, maybe the neighbor. Did him and stepdad wear the same size shoe? That's a good question. I have no idea. I'd say they've thought about that by now. He would have known if any of his were missing. With a special needs child, why the heck wouldn't you have cameras? That's another thing that kind of gets me hung up, is that was like what she did. And obviously they could afford them. I don't understand why you wouldn't have cameras. I really don't. Cameras aren't that expensive. I heard on the dispatch call he wears a size 10 shoe. Is that not kind of big for a 5'5" guy? My son wears an 8, and that's how tall he is. I'm a 10 and a half. I'm 5'11". I don't know. He's got big feet, Jesse. What can he... Where are you going with this? I really like to know why they and the neighbors had cameras. See, I'm knowing them neighbors had cameras. I'm knowing they did. I'm just wondering if there's anything on them. Hi, Lip Lock. I'm late as usual. Well, better late than never. Glad to have you this morning. Seth is a deputy sheriff. He has a profile on LinkedIn. Yeah. Chris has said multiple times, we are all going to begging and forgiveness for calling them out and then blaming Sebastian for every fuck up they keep fucking up. Ooh. Let's keep the F-bombs out, Amy, please. Thank you. I think it's possibly searches talking back and forth on walkie-talkie. I don't know, man. I don't get to not having the cameras, though. I really don't. Or, pretty much lack of security whatsoever as far as we've understood. They didn't have nothing on the windows, nothing. But see, I also think, I wonder why you wouldn't take that extra little step if you had a autistic son. You know, from the way they describe it, they basically had nothing. And all that stuff's so cheap, and it's what she supposedly does is install the shit. I don't get it. I mean, you can get some low grade stuff for cheap. You could get you you can get cameras for like $30 that'll go where you can check them on your cell phone. $30, you know, they have no cameras. $500,000 home with no security system makes no sense. It doesn't. But I don't know that this situation feels super planned out. So I don't know. It's really weird. And I'm guaranteeing you, everybody on the block ain't like them. I guarantee you, most of the other people have the cameras. I'm just wondering, is there nothing on these cameras? Nothing. I really got a kick out of how Seth put it last night when asked about security in Chris and Katie's home, and he said, "I'm in law enforcement, therefore I have no guns." Get it? I do get it. Deep inside, in my opinion, Seth isn't over KP. I don't know. I don't get that. Because when I was watching Nancy Grace, I talked about this the other morning. Nancy Grace refers to her as his wife, and he quickly is like, stepwife or ex-wife. Sorry. So Seth, your wife, ex-wife, Nancy. Thank you. So dark there, cameras might not pick up much. Yeah, but I mean, they'd at least pick up headlights and stuff, you know? That's what I'm saying, no video. I know there's video. I would say damn near every house around them has it. Heck, brings her ADT do give out comp security equipment for their employees. That way a homeowner can ask questions about it and answer truthfully, in my opinion. There's another good point. Most of the time, businesses give their employees either free service or discounts for stuff like that. Chris has always been like they have the footage and it proves them right or innocent, and that's what law enforcement told them. Sounds sus. Chris is sus, man. I'm telling you. He does them no favors, in my opinion. And his decisions have helped them none. I think not searching or going to the vigils didn't help them any. Yes, there is an ADT sign in their yard. I mean, they thought that's all they needed. But see, I'm not talking about having them for as much as for security as I would think they'd have them to help keep an eye on Sebastian, what he's doing and stuff, you know. He's not a big fan among a lot of people. I'll tell you that. He is definitely not a favorite. I don't hear many people say as much about the mom. And well, I don't know, kind of lately people have been talking more about the mom. I didn't realize that she had made the accusations. And I even had those court papers, but I got a bad copy of them and couldn't read them. Letitia couldn't pull it off, and she is a professional liar. Her security system told a lot. Yeah. Yeah, technology is hard to beat these days, I'll tell you what. Does anyone else think it's odd that Katie was home by herself with Sebastian most of the time with Chris away working? Seems like I wouldn't want security in that situation. That's another good point. Absolutely. With him gone all the time, you would have definitely thought she would have been more about having some security, some extra security. Because according to him, he hadn't even been in 3 weeks before Sebastian disappeared. He's so controlling. And listen to their interview on Duchess. He jumps right into to be transparent. He you would think though he would want the camera. Right? You would think he would want cameras since he's gone all the time so he could see what's going on at the house. Wouldn't you? Chris would want security to see if Katie was having visitors to the house, and that would explain some things. Oh, at the time, I'm sorry. My message moved. She wasn't alone in that house. She always had virtual Chris, and on the neighbors are neighbors. I don't know. I don't know, man. I'm really stuck on why he wouldn't have wanted cameras. All this just don't smell right. I would have wanted cameras because I would have been worried about my wife and my kid. I'm just thinking if my husband worked away all the time and I were home, especially with a special needs child, I would definitely want some security, like a lot of lights for one thing. Yeah. And they acted like didn't they say there were, a motion light on one side of the house, but typically it was dark all around the house. I don't get that either. I would want those outdoor lights to be motion activating. Chris says they were not. They have shit from the way they described it on Nancy Grace. Wait, so she does have a security system and it went down that night? No, she didn't have one, period. I'm sticking with the 3-hour conversation between Kate and Chris was a cover-up. That's when they did something with Sebastian. I would like to know what Chris's earlier parts of that day were. Like, I'd like to know where he was at the very moment Sebastian was last seen by somebody besides Katie. There's a pic of a security camera outside of the garage up top. Well, they say they don't have security cameras. They say they don't have none of that. It's what they told Nancy. 9 to 12 phones were connected. My thing is about the phones, though. If he does that, he calls her and then he drops the phone and he leaves, right? It would have had to have went dead because there's no way he could have went round trip in 3 hours. What y'all's thoughts on that? Or I guess, see, I don't know what would. I guess if she hung up on that end, they hung up on that end. See, that's why I have a trouble with the phone. How was she studying for school and talking to him for 3 hours? I said that. Me and Brandy was talking about that. I don't know how in the hell you could do those two things at the same time. You got somebody on the phone and you're trying to study while they're talking to you. There's no way. She could have hung up when he got there. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the only thing. But he wouldn't have been able to use it for another, or it wouldn't have been able to have done anything for another 3.5 hours. That's why I just wonder what the exact records of the phone show. Will the phone stay connected if it's just laying there? I think it will, as long as the line's open. I think it will. I don't think it would hang up. As long as the other end was still open too. When asked if they had HSD security, she said a flat no. Yeah, they said they didn't have anything. If he left at work and drove back home, the phone wouldn't show him leaving work. I can read and I can talk, but I cannot read and talk simultaneously. Well, I could talk what I was reading. I could read out loud, but as far as carrying on a different subject than what I'm reading, I couldn't do that. Or he has two phones, left one for a ping. He was there with her. Yeah, I don't know. But see, they had a big time window. You know, we don't know at what point of events the 3 hours would actually come into play. Could have been, who knows, you know. When asked Sebastian if Sebastian went out a window, he said, no, we would have heard something. Oh, is that what he said? Timeline is all screwed up. You can't believe the mother or stepdad. I guess searching's going on today. I don't know if anybody's been live or anything. I know that was a mess the other day. Everybody seemed to be arguing. I never did get to the bottom of what's up with the United Cajun Navy and the Cajun Navy. I know they're two different things, and apparently one of them ain't much about the other one. I don't know. There's big old holes all over the place. My daughter wants me to deliver breakfast to her at school. She must have been running late and couldn't stop herself. She's lucky I love her. It's raining cats and dogs. Wow, yeah. I think I'd be telling my daughter, you better just struggle on to lunch, girl. If anyone wants to help search for Sebastian, 10:30 a.m., 90 volunteers drive Hendersonville, Tennessee. 10:30 a.m., 90 volunteer drive, Hendersonville, Tennessee. It was weird that they canceled searches a couple days ago for rain, and it barely even rained. You know, I was thinking about that too, because the other day, I think I already erased it, but I had the weather schedule pulled up for Hendersonville, and it was supposed to be pretty nice all week. I remember thinking it was definitely going to be warm enough to search. I don't know if I showed y'all this. I seen this. This comes up when you Google Don Wells. And it had an article attached to it, right? And it says that it's he's been arrested for all these women and all this stuff, and then it's got a thing that pops up and says it's a gag. Ain't that wild? Somebody went through the trouble of doing that. I seen that the other day. That creeped me out. I was like, I don't know what's worse, somebody that would do that to go through all that time or what. Many of the searchers were on Josh's live until 2 a.m. I hope they got some rest. I hope they did too. I hope they find that boy. I mean, we've been over a month now. That is a long time to be missing. Yeah, it's really troublesome. Yes, they are having a search today. Seth was talking to Josh last night and Trevor and told the address of where everyone is to meet. Is that the address you just give us, Liplock? 90 Volunteer Drive? Didn't I see that? If anyone wants to help search for Sebastian, 10:30 a.m., 90 Volunteer Drive, Hendersonville, Tennessee. Tim made the fake Don Wells Jr. page. Is that right, Tina? That wouldn't shock me at all. No, don't be like Ruby Frankie. Man, had y'all seen any of that footage from Ruby Frankie and Jody Hillebrand? Ruby Frankie was the YouTube mom, and her business partner, spiritual guide, pal, was abusing her kids. They found them. They had the body cam footage out of when they went to the house. She's like, "You don't have a warrant. You don't have a warrant. You got a warrant." She was on the phone with her lawyer when they knocked on the door. That Jody Hillebrand. That's a weird story. Brother, they had Sebastian in black clothes and no shoes, no jacket, no hat, no gloves on. It kind of leads me in that direction, and the temperature. That address is the staging area. Yesterday, only 3 volunteers showed up, so hopefully maybe more will come today. Yes, 10:30 a.m., 90 volunteer drive, Hendersonville, Tennessee. I wish I was closer, man. I'd go, but that's a bit of a drive for me. Was that his after dark show or regular one? I don't know. Probably after dark. Seen that poor kids, they were so skinny. Oh, yeah, the footage from the Ruby Frank situation. They're both LDS, Ruby and Jody. They're strange. I seen something the other day where somebody was talking about the husband might have known something that he shouldn't have been letting go on. All the trash parents are sickening. Yeah. Man, we didn't even do call-ins, but I'm about at my hour now. Sometimes the conversation just flows well. I tell you though, man, this Sebastian thing it's not looking good this long. You know, I think unless I think it's not looking good. I'm really hoping the searching don't stop though. Let me put up his thing before we go to show his banner with his stuff on. I think I got one. Because I started thinking about it. We need to be putting that out a lot more. There's his and that's that's old. I think the reward is up from that now. It seems like I heard somebody was talking about. That's concerning my opinion. The language spoken and how things unfolding is interesting to me. Yeah, I'm mad about the call-in, John. LOL. I'll do it. I'm gonna start doing morning shows a lot during the week. The early one, I like doing them. That way, I get it out of the way, and I don't have to stress all day about getting something done. I like the morning time. I think the crowd's more laid back too. All the trolls are still in bed. Light up in chat for Sebastian. Everybody hit the thumbs up too before you head out. I'm supposed to bring that up like 3 times a show, and I never remember. Kevin is a heel and should never get custody of the 4 minor children. The jail phone calls make me believe that he would let Ruby see those children once out from prison, in my opinion. Kevin is definitely a simp. There's no doubt about that, the way he let her treat him. I think I should do a video on my channel dragging John Davis True Crime for not allowing anybody to call in on a call-in show. Well, I have good intentions, man, but I thought the show just went well. You know? Sorry. We didn't get there. We'll get there next week. We got lots of shows to do. From now on, I'm guaranteeing we're doing Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I might add another day into it. Clickbait. Screw you, Jesse. That's funny. Roast him lip locked. I probably got one coming from somebody. Guys, I appreciate everybody coming. Thanks to all the people that took their time to spend it with us this morning. Good group of folks. And we will, I don't know, I just be on the lookout. I might pick up another morning soon. I kind of like doing the morning show. Gets my day started good too. I'm not okay with you only being 5'11". What? 5'11" ain't short, man. I am 1 inch from 6 foot. Damn, Jesse, I'm getting off here, man. You roasting the hell out of me. Have a good day. Have a good day, Bob G. We'll see you. Everybody, y'all, if I don't see y'all, I'm gonna try to have a video out this weekend. I'll see you. I'll see you early next week. Tuesday at the latest. Oh, there's Josh. He rolled in finally. It's only 7 your time or 6 your time. 6 or 7. One of the two. Thanks for coming, Josh. I'd have brought you up. We could have talked. Too late now, buddy. You screwed that up. Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend. I'll see y'all later.